You're literally responsible for motivating someone who is an artist. They've got these dreams in their mind. They're here for a reason because they dreamt of working with people like yourself, the mentor, to sit with you, an industry professional, an industry veteran, or even a new artist, but you're in the mentor capacity. This is a very exciting time for them to be sitting down and to be sharing space, conversation, collaboration, and inspiration with someone who's gone through the looking glass.
I believe it's strongly related to being in a position of leadership in the industry. You're really there to alleviate any roadblocks that they might have. You want to keep things moving, and students very often get stuck. They're just spinning their wheels, and you really need to be there to keep an eye on that and to focus on productivity.
You are the role of an art director or some kind of CG soup at the time, which his job is to inspire and lift ideas out of people. But you're talking about what could happen with any given, piece of their art, letting them then run with it, watching the excitement form in their own minds as you continue to build, where this could go. You're like lifting up these tarot cards of, intention or inspiration, and you're looking to see which one creates a flicker in their eye.
I really care about their success, and there's kind of this mutual respect that's created right away where if I really expect them to work hard, and every week that I come in, they better show something really worth that entire week. And I think that really creates this pressure for them to really push themselves so that when I come in, we're really making huge progress. I've been fortunate to be mentoring for about 12 years at Think Tank, and things have changed. Back 10 years ago, we expected students to have 3 characters done within 14 weeks. Nowadays, if they can have 1.5 started in half of another character, I call that a success, because there's way more stress to learn more softwares. The visual fidelity is much higher. Things take more time, whether it's at school or in the industries.
The point is, within this moment, finding the awesomeness that keeps them excited today in the moment. And that's just what we're doing. I think it's vital to be side by side in this journey with the student. And it's very, very exciting, and I consider it a privilege.
I would say that's almost my favorite part of the whole process, is building connections with these guys and girls. Also, when you see concepts click and stuff like that, it's really rewarding. Yeah, it is interesting to have such a diverse group of folks, all interested, all coming from different parts of the world, all trying to do the same stuff, which is a little reminder of the competition that's out there for these guys too. Even if we don't have a ton in common personally, once they see how excited I am about what it is that they're excited about and making this thing the best thing that it can be, we hit it off like gangbusters. You can become really fast friends when you're both really passionate about the same thing. And we're both, 3 inches from the screen and trying to scrutinize and come up with ideas, and you can really quickly bond with somebody, I think, that way.
For my student Martin, who incidentally was a fantastic student, it was up to him to tell me what he wanted, which was a compositing reel. He had to come up with all of the footage and the materials and the ideas in order to create that within the constraints of what he wanted to produce. He needed to show roto and paint and tracking ability and projections, but then he also had a kind of a secondary motivation, which was that he's really interested in game cinematics. So although that's quite a different kind of skill level and you want to show a different reel, I think it's important to encourage that, because everyone wants to be inspired in life. You're only going to be better at every area of your life if you are happy and inspired by what you're doing. So I tried to encourage that as well.
So another very important part of being a mentor is going back to the leadership role, Setting concrete goals for each week is crucial. Students love to check off boxes. And that's been a huge part of the success with students in my experiences. Every week, we both agree this is a good amount of work you can achieve. If we both agree on it, it's like a contract. And next week when I come in, I expect it to be done.
To motivate a student, I would simply remind them why they're here and what their goal is, and that the dream is to work in film or games or to be a part of these iconic projects. I mean, that's what everybody wants. And that's exactly why they're here. You don't need any more motivation than that.
Do you ever tell any good old working on a great project stories?
For Life of Pi, the producer of the project brought the entire team into a room, including our visual effects supervisor, and said, you know, we're going to be making creatures for Ang Lee's new film, and our goal is to get an Oscar. We're going to get an Oscar on this show, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get the Oscar. So if you guys are working late hours, if we're scrutinizing every little pixel of the thing that you're making, just know that we're here to get an Oscar. And I got goosebumps, and everybody, just got everybody really revved up, and we went and we did it. It was awesome.
What do you feel about the expression, good enough?
You can't keep working on a character for 6 months. I mean, it becomes nonsense, and you're not really employable if you're taking 6 months to a year to work on a single character. So at some point, I might say it's good enough because I understand all the hurdles that the students might have had, and right now it's just not worth it.
First of all, your supervisor and then your client. If they're happy with a shot, it's done. You've done your job, and you have to kind of not get too precious about something. The deadlines are tight, and you might want to continue working on a shot, but it's already been approved, so you've just got to kind of let that go, however frustrating that might be to you at the time.
In the constraints of a production, good enough is thrown around a lot. But when it comes to the final result, it's never, yeah, that's good enough, let's move on. If we're talking about like minutia of a texture painter's workload, or a look dev artist, or tweaking little tiny things, then it might be, yeah, okay, for now that's good enough, we'll come back to it later. But when we're talking about a student's reel, when we're talking about how they're presenting themselves to the outside industry and to people who are going to be employing them ultimately, good enough would not be something that I would encourage them to even think about. We shouldn't be thinking about good enough. It should more be about what's the very best that I can put out there. Just focusing on, you're your worst critic. Look at yourself as critically as you can and produce the best thing that you can. And you can't ask anybody to do anything other than that. Just do your best.
Do you think all students have that potential for greatness?
I'm absolutely convinced that every student can achieve greatness. In fact, I've seen students with zero background in 3D, barely even knew how to turn on a computer, believe it or not, and they've surpassed students just from their work ethics.
I think that everyone has the potential for being the best version of themselves that they possibly can be, for sure. And then, so I think that's really what you want to, as a mentor, that you want to make sure that they're creating the best work that they can do within a time period as well, because you've got to be practical about these things.
Greatness is an interesting concept, and like you said, there are varying levels of both artistic ability and technical ability within each one of the students. I would say ultimately it's about how much work you're willing to put in. And something might come really easy to the guy next to you, but so long as you're willing to put in the work to be the best, to do the best, achieve the best looking picture that you can, it's going to even out.
You celebrate and champion what they're doing correctly, teasing them towards the best they possibly can be within that to lift the student up while they're moving forward and have them visualize that future that might be like your own.
I just get excited about helping the guys, honestly. I want to see them succeed. I want to get them their dream job. I want their work to look really good. And that's really it. There's not a whole lot more to it.